and I want to make sure that they have this information. So, so that's kind of how we got started, and so for the last 11 years, we have been providing this program all throughout the country, and it's been a very successful program because of the number one, it having the job attached to it. So when you're done with this program, you're not going to get a certificate and a resume and be told to go and seek out a job. But you actually, the second half of this program, you will be actually in training with the company that you will be working with. They are going to give you a certification. And once that certification is complete, the very next thing that you will do that same day is log in and begin working. So you're not going to have to interview or send resumes or wait for somebody to give you the decision. The decision to work the job is entirely yours, and that is determined by your participation and your completing the program and all the coursework and requirements that are given to you. The requirements are never going to be anything that's overwhelming for you. And at any time, if you do feel overwhelmed, or if you find yourself experiencing anxiety as you get closer to your first day of work, we have a wonderful team here that's going to be there by your side all throughout this program. So we've all have worked one of these work from home contracts. And so we all know and understand the challenges of getting through it. In fact, I often will share. I'm a pretty tough cookie, but I remember going through the program, and we were to uh, we were to maintain a certain grade average for our exams, and I was in the middle of an exam, and it timed out on me. It timed out early, so it was a uh, a hiccup in the system or whatever, but it timed out early. And because it timed out early, it was going to take my average below what it needed to be. And I had worked so hard in that class to get where I need to get. And I just found myself sitting there crying. And it was like, okay, pull yourself together and contact, your QA and let them know what happened and have them take a look at it, which they did. They reactivated the exam and allowed me to do it again, and I scored 100%. So there can be moments when you find yourself feeling a little overwhelmed trying to meet the expectations. But I can assure you that none of the guidelines or none of the expectations are there uh to uh I guess cause you to fail. We want you to succeed. So even when you hear this is a guideline, this is a rule, this is a regulation, um, there may be times when um, you just can't meet that guideline. And that's what our navigation team is here for you to reach out to them and have those conversations so that they can put things in place. One thing about disability employment is it is all about uh, uh, providing accommodations so that you can do the essential functions of the job and the essential functions of your coursework. So we're definitely there. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits and the challenges of remote work. Obviously, flexibility is the beginning. Number one, you're not having to get up and leave your house. You're not having to buy lunch, pay for gas, all those types of things. When you're off work, all you have to do is turn your computer off and you're at home. So there's a lot of benefits to working from home. The jobs that are provided here allow you to schedule yourself. So you will be provided a scheduler where you will go in once a week and set up your schedule for the following week. That scheduler is going to be a chart in boxes of 30 minutes. So if you have a doctor's appointment, if you have physical therapy, if you have to pick the children up at a certain time, if you have issues perhaps with your back or with your vision where you can't sit for long periods of time, you'll be able to schedule yourself around that those situations that you need to work through. Also, even when you first get started and you're not necessarily comfortable with working by yourself at home with the customer, you can always schedule yourself for 1 hour on, 1 hour off, or 30 minutes on and 30 minutes off. That way, after each call, you're giving yourself a break until you build up a comfort level where you're like, okay, I can handle these calls and now I can work a full 2 hours. I can work a full 4 hours. I can work, whatever, whatever length of time I want to work a full 8 hour day. So uh, that's one of the great things about working from home. But there are some challenges and there are some drawbacks. So we don't want anyone to have a false impression of what it is that is all, peaches and cream, because there are some challenges to working from home. And that is why we're here, so that we can make sure you know what all those challenges are and how to address them and rise to those challenges. So some of the things that you will perhaps deal with is the isolation. Even though you are working from home and you are by yourself, you're still going to be working in a community. So there's going to be what is typically called a production room. And in that production room, just like here in Zoom, you can see all of the names of the people that are in. Here, you're going to see everybody that's in that production room, all of your supervisors and facilitators and folks that's there to help you, and they're going to be chatting back and forth. You're going to be chatting back and forth with them. So you won't necessarily have that isolated feeling of when you're just kind of working and you're not interacting with people, because you'll be constantly interacting with people. But occasionally you might kind of feel like you've been closed in, because it's very easy to wake up, go to work, depending on what's available that day. Even when your shift is done, you can look in the scheduler, and if there are hours available and you're not doing anything, you might find yourself saying, I'm just going to work a few more hours, make some more money. And then the next thing you know, you're going to bed, you're waking up, you're doing the same thing, and it just feels like one long day that never ends. So there are going to be some things that we're going to help you or show you how to do to make sure that your work day ends and your personal life begins, and that they don't blur and overlap, because it's very easy for that to happen. You'll need self-discipline, because you don't have a supervisor or coworker that's standing over you, or you're not punching in a clock, or nobody's watching per se. So you're there by yourself. And believe it or not, it's easier to find yourself calling off or releasing hours when you're working from home than if you were going into the office every day. So you have to make sure that you're focused and that you don't, kind of blow things off and that type of stuff. So finally, working from home, we have to be very careful. If you are not registered with Voc Rehab in your state, I encourage you today to go to, I believe it's GVRE, I believe. If not, just Google Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Services and find out what you need to do to apply for their services. You want to make sure that you have that service to complement what you're getting at VR&E, because it's my understanding that there are some things that VR&E are no longer providing that you may need. You may need a hydraulic desk. You may need a certain type of chair. You may need a certain type of laptop. Like there have been people who have had strokes, and so they may not have any mobility on one side of their body, and so they've needed a laptop that was designed for a person who can only use their right side of their body or the left side of their body. So by registering with your Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Services, there are a boatload of things that they can provide to you that VRE may not be providing. And for years, it's always been that way where they complement each other. If you're already a voc rehab recipient for the VA, they have a MOU so that you don't have to go through a lengthy process at all to get your services. But they definitely complement each other where voc rehab, VRE comes short, that's where the state picks up. Where the state comes short, that's where VRE picks up. So please, if you will, just write that down and try and connect. In fact, let me know if when you actually do that so that I can also help give you some guidance in navigating that process as well.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Can I get the name one more time?
It is it's gonna be your state, Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation. It used to be G it used to be GRVE, I think, or GVRE. Let me just kind of do that. I'm gonna look it up real quick and see Georgia. And that way I can give you, because they did change their name. I think they changed their name to GVS or something at some point. Um, GVRA, Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. So, one of the things that the focus of this program will be contact centers. Some of you have heard of call centers. We do not refer to them as call centers anymore because there's so much more going on than call centers. They are contact centers. In a contact center, you may be accepting inbound calls, outbound calls. You may be a chat contact person. You may be doing your contact via text messages, social media folks, and email folks. So all of those are different functions within the contact center, and you may be involved in any one of those. When you're doing tech support, when you're doing help desk, you'll find yourself often doing a lot of the chat type work. When you're doing chat work, often you're running or you're actually having multiple chats going at one time. Unlike when you're on the phone, you're just going to be talking to that one person. So you're working with folks, and 9 times out of 10, these folks are either going to want a service or a product, or they're going to need help with something. So it's going to be very important, and we're going to help you really bring out that you know, super service person that's inside of you, because we all have been on the other side of those phone calls where, often we're frustrated with our technology, or something was wrong on our bill or whatever, and we're either upset, we're frustrated, we don't know how to use this or that. And it's just very calming when there's someone who is on the other side who is knowledgeable, who is accommodating, who is professional, and who is there to serve us. And we know that they're there to work with us and are patient with us. So we're going to help you to really bring all those skills out even more than they are if you already are, excellent with those things. Okay. So Let's talk a little bit about what you're going to need. And at any time, if you have any questions, please just dive in and ask those questions. Occasionally, I'll stop and I'll ask you, what questions do you have for me? So, the communication tools, essential communication tools used in a remote call center is actually it's not necessarily your phone system as we know phones, but your what we call a soft phone. So now basically you're going to have your headset on, you're going to be plugged into your computer, and your calls are going to come through the system there. So you're going to want to have that. You definitely will be doing a lot of communicating internally with your uh within your the company that you're working for, a lot of chat, all these type of things. So you're going to need to have, I believe that if you haven't been um, given a laptop from the VA, that those orders are going in so that you will have your headset, so that you will have your laptop and or desktop, so that you'll have two monitors, or you'll have your laptop screen and an additional monitor. But you definitely want to be working off of two screens, because one screen is going to be your production room. That's where all your people are. That's helping you when you kind of have an issue, and then there's the larger screen, or whichever, it doesn't even matter which screen you're using, but you're going to have the customer's account and information on one screen. You'll have your production room on another screen, and you'll also be researching, so you'll have tools that you'll need to access, different software that you'll need to go to find the answers. So you definitely want to work off of two screens. Some people are brave enough to do one screen, but I promise you the one screen will slow you down. So definitely you want to um, have that tool. You will have that system that's going to have your customers information in it. It's called a CRM. So when you hear that term, you're going to hear a lot of acronyms. That's what they're talking about. That's your customer relationship management tool. So every company typically have that. There's going to be a lot of talk about security and privacy and how to handle that. So there are things that you will learn, like never write a credit card number down. You will type it in as you go. In fact, never write any of their personal sensitive information down, because you're in your house, and you may have kids, or the neighbor kid might be over. They may see a credit card number, decide to order a pizza or something, or play games or whatever. So you're going to always handle that information the same way you would want your information to be handled. Okay. Some of the things that we're going to go into greater length, we have next week a project that we do when we talk more in depth about active listening. But we all know how to listen. We've all probably even heard of active listening, and some of us may really be skilled at active listening. But we're going to try and do some things to kind of see where we're at with our active listening skills, because in a lot of cases, a lot of people really, when you're in a conversation, a lot of people are listening, but just waiting for you to get to the end of your point so that they can present their point, or say what they have to say. But when you're listening to someone actively, you're not really focusing on what you're going to say next, or thinking about what your next comment is. You're actually listening to them, and you're giving them feedback so that they know that you're listening. When you're working on a phone, especially with people who are having challenges or issues, I don't know if you've ever had anyone, but I certainly have had someone on the other side of the phone, and they're so quiet that I have to ask, "Are you still there?" So you don't want to be that agent or that support person that's on the other side of the phone, and they don't know if you're still there. So we're going to talk about how important that active listening component is, and some techniques for improving our active listening. And we have a really fun activity that we do where you all go in breakout rooms, you're teamed up, and you do your active listening assignment with each other. And it's really cool because when we come back, it helps us to even know our whole class that much better. Also, we're going to talk to you about some simple things like your tone and the language that you use, because there are some things that you should never say to a customer, like calm down. There are some tones that you want to be mindful of, because if you have an angry customer that's calling who's really frustrated and you're really, really over the top happy and cheerful and whatever, sometimes that works in when everybody's happy, but sometimes that can be annoying to somebody who has a challenge. So we're going to talk to you about knowing how and when to match the tone with the situation. Finally, I don't know if this is finally or not. I think I got one more slide after this, but setting the boundaries is going to be extremely important, because when you have family and you're working from home, sometimes family just it's hard for them to wrap their mind around the fact that you're working from home, that you're actually at work. So they'll want to interact with you as if you're at home. And so you have to help them to know that you're at work. I have a niece, and when I was working from home, I remember she had a little baby, and I'm like right in the middle of working for Enterprise rent a car when the car I mean when the door buzzes, and she brings the baby in, lays her on the floor right behind me. Fortunately, I just finished the call. She lays the baby on the floor and runs downstairs to get a diaper bag or something, which was really kind of funny because I was like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do if a call comes in?" But that's what happens, you know? Or, you know, you have a note on the door so that people don't ring the doorbell. They come around to your sliding door and knock on the door and things like that. So it's kind of funny. Family is fun, and fun to interact with when you're working from home, because you really do have to help them understand that I am at work right now, you know. And also you have to remember, because sometimes your family and friends will call up and say, "Hey, you want to go to a mall?" And you're thinking, "Oh man, maybe I can just blow this last little, you know, shift off and go run off and work." So those are just things that you really need to think about when you're dealing. We're going to go more in depth with that when we're talking about managing your workplace in the classroom next week. Also managing your stress and maintaining your well-being. So you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You have to make sure you have the proper types of food, water, you know, that the temperature in the rooms are where it needs to be, and that you when you had that challenging or that difficult call that just really stressed you out, just, you know, pause things and take a moment, take that break and take care of yourself. Also, when you're not working, I like to work in a separate room where I can close the door so that when I'm done, I come out of that room, I close the door. And so my life now in my home is my life in my home, but I'm not constantly looking over and seeing work related things, or things that can trigger stress that you don't even know that you're experiencing. Some people will work and have their desk in their bedrooms and things like that. If it works for you, that's fine. If it doesn't stress you out, for me, it's very difficult to have my workspace in my bedroom, even though most of the time when I'm doing other things related to the Kimberly group, I usually am actually in my bedroom. So, um, so like I said, that's just a few of the things that we're going to be talking about next week as we go into the training. Training will be in class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10. No, I'm sorry, I believe it's 9 until 1. So be prepared to come to class. It will be recorded. If you have any appointments or if for any reason you can't attend, then make sure you send those emails out to me ASAP to let me know that these are the days and times that I won't be able to attend so that we'll be able to make sure we're accommodating you accordingly and that we get the recordings to you and that you have all of um, your class material and things like that. So, any questions so far? What questions do you have for me? Okay, so no questions so far. So I'm going to go quickly through the requirements and program requirements and guidelines to succeed in this next phase that you're going in. Um, Obviously, this is called phase one fundamental training. And in this training, we're going to equip you with customer service, help desk, and contact center fundamentals. That is, you'll be introduced to what is a call flow. You'll have a segment on delivering white glove or excellent customer service and what those elements are, understanding the customer, understanding what they need, what they want, what's important to the customer. Also, we're going to have those active listening activities. In fact, it's going to be a lot of, like I said, it's going to be highly interactive. So we're going to do a lot of breakouts, a lot of role plays, a lot of by Wednesday you will actually be doing mock calls and things like that. You'll have some self-paced assignments that you'll need to do. So it's going to be a lot of information that gives you that basic foundation so that whether you are in a call center, whether you are doing billing, whether you're doing sales, whether you're doing help desk, whether you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, you can do it from one company to the next company, and it is across the board the industry standard. Okay, so that's the first phase. The second phase, you will be given a work portal. Actually, you'll be given three work portals, and in those work portals, you will identify companies and what their requirements are, when their certifications are, and you will choose what they pay, all of that type of stuff, and you will choose the company that you would like to certify and work for. Ultimately, once you complete this 8 weeks, you'll be able to add additional companies if you like. You can work with as many as you like if you can manage that. When people begin to do the work from home careers, they typically never leave the work from home career. So they get very creative in how they make money. It's like they may be working for TurboTax over here, and when they're done with TurboTax, they might be logging off and going right into hotels.com or something like that. It just depends on what you want to do, what your goals are, and so on. I'm a little older, so I'm not trying to work lots and lots and lots of hours, but I remember there was a young man who was trying to, um, he was a veteran actually. He wanted to purchase a house and he was servicing AT&T. And so he literally was working 80 hours a week and he loved it. It didn't bother him. He was single. It was no big deal. But 80 hours a week is just a lot for me in a call center. So all right. Some things that uh, we will be um, presenting to you will be your online and self-paced activities. The program is designed to accommodate diverse learning styles, offering a blend of online resources and self-paced activities. As a trainee, you will have the flexibility to progress through some of the material at your own pace, ensuring a personalized learning experience. You will be assigned a navigator who will provide guidance, support, and assistance throughout the program. The navigator will serve as a point of contact to address concerns, helping trainees navigate and various components of the program. So that navigator will be available to you via email, telephone or however you guys decide is the best way for you to communicate, but that is going to be your point person. So you want to go to your navigator first, and if you can't get to your navigator, then you can come to me. I don't want you to be waiting or frustrated because it's like I called Miss Kimberly and I haven't heard back from her yet because like right now if my phone is ringing I would not know because I'm sitting here with you. So somebody if they called me at the beginning is going to sit at least an hour and a half before they hear from me. So I don't want you to um, feel as if you're not getting the attention that you need or the response that you need because I'm not available to you. I will make sure that your navigator is there whenever you reach out by email to your navigator. You can always copy me so that I can stay in the loop of what it is that you need, just in case there is a situation where your navigator has not responded in a timely fashion. But I can assure you that they will always respond to you in a timely fashion. Finally, we talked a little bit about the second phase of the program where you will receive the training and certification by the company that you choose, okay? So here is what that schedule look like. Next week, live instructor-led class. It will be in an Adobe room, not the Zoom. So you're going to get another link. And your link is going to be for Adobe Connect. That is our classroom. Monday the 18th, Wednesday the 20th, and Friday the 22nd from 9:30 to 1:30. That is the time. So that is, you want to be prepared for that. I sent all of you this PowerPoint as well. So you have it and you can refer back to it at any time. The post-class coaching, that is basically part of the navigation process. Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., or Wednesdays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So you will choose which one of those slots you would like to have, and that will become your navigation appointment each week with your group navigation activities. Some of those activities are going to be additional training to support you in what you are doing. I believe it was Jonathan that talked about his business. We're all basically, because this is contractual, this falls under the heading of self-employment. Whenever you're self-employed, you are essentially in business for yourself. That all can sound very overwhelming, but everything kind of works like a traditional job. So you don't have to be freaked out by the self-employment thing and all that type of stuff because you will have your schedule, you will do your time sheets, you will do everything as if you're working traditionally, but based on the IRS qualifications, that flexibility that you enjoy and that working from home with your equipment and everything puts you in a different category, puts you in a 1099 category. And ideally, when you're 1099, there's a lot of things that you can write off. So ideally, you're not going to overpay in taxes and hopefully you won't owe any taxes at the end because of the things that you're able to write off because you are a 1099 employee. But those are some of the things that we're going to, some of the lessons and things that you will be uh, uh, taking part in during the post-class coaching. So that we've got credit education class to help you now that you're working and everything. You may have 800, 900 credit. So we're going to show you how to keep it there and also how to understand the whole credit process and everything so that if you're not quite there, you know why you're not there, how to get there, and who to stay away from. Um, in terms of all of these services and stuff like that that want you to pay money for a very long time to handle something that they know we typically don't understand. So that will be one of the lessons that you'll have. A lot of motivational type lessons and goal setting and things like that, resume writing and job enhancement. So for those of you who love the jobs that you get here, that's a wonderful thing. But for those of you who say, this is cool, I'm enjoying working here, it's paying me well, but there are some things that I aspire to do beyond this, or I want to try some other things outside of this program. We want to make sure that you are equipped to nail it, okay? So that is something that that's going to be a very enjoyable part. It keeps you engaged in the program all 8 weeks. Um, our one-on-one Hey form and session, that's something that you'll be required to do. It is simply a link, and that Hey stands for how are you, and the D is doing. How are you doing? So there will be a link that you will have every Monday, and you just fill it out. That way, if there are any issues that you're encountering in your certification with your company, if the class is going too fast, too slow, too challenging, you don't like it, you do like it, you you're falling behind on your assignments, whatever. If everything is great, all of that, that's what you'll report on that form. That form will be available to you every Monday, starting on the third Monday of the program, and then you will meet with your one-on-one with your navigator to go over that form. That way, if everything is great, then everything's great. Everybody's on the same page. If there are any issues, you guys will work out what that resolution is. If you're having an issue and you write in there that everything's great and you don't tell anybody, then, we really can't help you. So we don't want you to get to the end and fall off the wagon and no one ever knew that you were wobbling on the wagon. So it's okay, to say that I'm having an issue here. I don't understand that. I need help with this or that. Please, please, I'd rather you tell us those things than to say that everything is okay, because this is about your success and we want you to succeed. And we will do everything in our power to help you succeed, but we got to know what you need to succeed, okay?
Miss Kimberly, quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the post, the slide previous, you said the post, we had the 3 different days up.
Yes,
When does that begin?
next Monday.
Next month? Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we talked about the self-paced. Some of you have already done your self-paced assignments in study.com. Some of you have not. So this is the program includes self-paced study modules that allow trainees to delve into specific topics at your own convenience. You are expected to complete these modules, demonstrating a proactive approach to self-directing and learning. If you have not received those, you will receive your links for your self-study this evening. And hopefully you will have all of those assignments completed by this coming Monday. Uh, you will be assigned various tasks and projects. Well, it's not that deep. All that stuff is in class. So a lot of the projects and the tasks will be taking place when we're actually interacting with each other. They're designed to reinforce the learning and practical application. So a lot of role playing. You'll get the different types of difficult callers, because every difficult caller is not an angry caller. Sometimes a difficult caller is someone who may have a accent from a different country, and you're trying to understand or decipher what they're saying. And you can't keep repeating or asking them to repeat themselves over and over again, because it will become frustrating to them. So, what do you do in that situation? It could be someone who likes to talk a lot about everything under the sun, and you have an AHT, an average handle time, that you have to adhere to. So, they're telling you that you have to have this call wrapped up and completed in 5 minutes, and the first 5 minutes has just been used with this person telling you all about their pet cat. So what do you do? So we'll talk about those things, and those are the types of assignments and projects that we are going to do. We have a connect room called Zoho Connect. So there's two connects, A and Z. Adobe Connect, that's your classroom. Zoho Connect, that's your group room. So you'll be able to download Zoho Connect to your phone, your iPad, on your computer. You can go in and post 24 hours a day. So you can interact with each other, you can interact with us, you can post things, your lessons will be there, your videos that we have in class will be posted there, different little contests and activities will be in that Zoho Connect room. So you want to really have a lot of fun with that. Share your experiences, share your thoughts, everything. Share pictures of your family and pets and things if you like. But I call it like our internal Facebook. So we definitely want you to take full advantage of the Zoho Connect room. Uh, there will be surveys, there will be quizzes, assessments, and then I talked a little bit about the role play and the mock calls. So you will be requested to participate in surveys aimed at gathering feedback, insight, and reflections on the program. Your input will be instrumental in shaping the ongoing development and improvement of the program because we're constantly evolving, because the workforce is constantly evolving and technology is constantly evolving. So we're asking you to please give your feedback so that we can make this program better for you. Regular quizzes and assessments will be administered to gauge your understanding and retention of the program material. You are expected to actively engage with these assessments, demonstrating your grasp of the concepts. And finally, as I said, mock calls and role play will be crucial to your coursework because it's there to enhance your communication, problem solving, and customer service skills. This is basically restating uh, the Zoho and the mock calls things. So you will have the opportunity to engage in the mock scenarios and role play, simulating real world situations and challenges. A lot of the mock calls are going to be from actual experiences that we had, and we just do them again with you to see how you will respond. Even your assessments in your work portals will give you scenarios and ask you, how will you handle this? So just some things to think about. Okay. We talked a little bit about the uh, coaching and the navigation. These sessions are there. You will receive additional training to support your endeavor to succeed in the self-employment space. Introduction to business basics, resume writing, job search enhancement, credit education are just a few of the other trainings that you will have available to you. Finally, after you complete your client certification consists of setting up your work portals, following specific processes for onboarding, completing assessments, selecting certified companies, and participating in certification. Those assessments are important because if you do not pass those assessments, then you do not move on to the job selection process. So when you're taking these assessments, I need everyone to be focused, be serious about it. Don't blow the questions off. Don't, rush through it. If you're not in a set situation to do the assessments, don't do the assessment. Make sure that everything is set up. It's a quiet environment. You're plugged into your modem, all those type of things before you take an assessment, because in a lot of cases you can't take the assessment a second time and you can't, move on to the job if you fail that assessment. So we need to make sure that we work with everybody to be able to pass those assessments as you come into your work portals. Once you complete your client certification, you will be onboarded and given a SOW contract. Some of those companies, you will be receiving your pay directly from them. Some of the companies are under our call center. So if you're in one of our call center companies, you will be onboarded with our company and you will be in our payroll and everything will process that way. Okay? When you successfully fulfill all the program requirements, you will be recognized for your dedication and achievement. Program completion signifies a commitment to continuous learning and professional development, positioning you for future success. So once you get that SOW, once you're onboarded, we're going to check in and review things 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days out to make sure that you're having consistent success. Okay. This slide simply gives you the names of some of the people that you will be meeting in the future. You've already met me, Cheryl Blackburn. You'll be hearing from her. Carolyn Dawson is our training director. Karen Bland is online with us right now. Audrey Cotton is with us. Yvette Johnson and Sabrina Thomas is our navigator in training. So she will soon get her schedule to start working with our navigation team, and they will train her to be a navigator. So Sabrina is on with us and she's going through the course with us, but she'll also be someone that you'll be working with. Okay. And finally, our contact information. So once again, I did give this information to you, this PowerPoint. And so this is what you can refer to as you are reaching out to us. So what questions do you have for, and I hope that 439, I believe that's the correct number. What questions do you have for me?
Hi, this is Melissa. I have a question. So if
Yes.
you fail the assessment and you can't, it's a possibility that you can't take it again, does that mean that the program is actually over for you? Or can you try to compete for like a different company or something?
So what we have is a minimum of 3 portals that you work portals for you to work from. So the likelihood of you not passing all 3 of them is just not likely. So if you don't pass one, you can always go ahead and do the assessment with the other 2 companies. And that way, you'll have the option. It's just each portal have different companies. So if you had your heart set on working for one of the companies in the portal that you did not pass the assessment with, you just will not be able to work for that company. You'll have to choose a different company. However, even if you don't pass that assessment, they do give you a sit-out period. I don't know, I think it's 90 days. So if you work for one of the other companies, you can always come back and do that assessment 90 days later. Some of the companies will allow you to do the assessment a second time, but it just depends on, which company it is.
Okay, thank you. I also have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
So the Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays is the actual training. Monday, this may be a silly question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Does that, consider 1 week? Because I know the program is 8 weeks, so Monday, Wednesday, to Friday is considered 1 week.
Yes, everything that you're doing, it's gonna be done in that 8-week period. So, once you get to your certification training, that's gonna be like a Monday through Friday thing. Um, we used to go straight Monday through Friday with our the first phase of it. But we found that by doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and allowing you to work at your pace on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that it gives us a chance to kind of do some one-on-one work with you on those days that you're not physically in the classroom, but you will have work assigned to you all 5 days.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. What
I have
other
a que-
questions? Yes.
Um, So the appointments, you said to email you about them, because I know I have a VA appointment coming up on Monday, actually.
Yes, please, send that to me.
Okay, thank you.
And, any appointments that you know of within that 8-week period, so that I can, go ahead and have that in our records. And also, when you go to your client certification, they have a zero absence policy. They're gonna tell you that, and they usually only enforce that if for some reason they just want to get rid of you. That's rare that you have to be a troublemaker in class. And that's rare too, but occasionally there will be a troublemaker in class. And so then they'll hold tight to those rules. But for the most part, if you have doctor's appointments, if you have uh um, trips, any of the things that life things. In fact, they excused me to leave class, or I think my nephew's wedding was like that Saturday, and they excused me for that Friday to travel to Georgia to his wedding. And so obviously a wedding is not even a doctor's appointment. It wasn't even my wedding, but they are very flexible. All of those lessons are recorded, and as long as you're doing the work, they are supportive of you. So, and then by your giving me those appointments, then it also gives me the opportunity to connect with them and let them know, look, this is what's happening with my client. I mean, with my trainee. My trainee is a veteran, and they obviously give consideration to those who are veteran status. What other questions do you have for me?
What are some of the companies that you could choose from?
Wow, okay. Some of the companies
Long
are
list.
so we'll start with the nonprofits, PBS, television, ASPCA, Wounded Warriors. So we have there are two types of call center jobs. There's the um, kind of there's the scripted one that would be like the PBS where you're watching the hip hop, or soulful 70s or whatever. They're doing a campaign and they break away from the concert and they're saying if make this contribution, you're gonna get this collection and that kind of thing. And you'll see people in the background on the phones. And once upon a time, those people actually were answering phones. Now they're just props. You're the one that's answering the phones, and everything is completely scripted. When the St. Jude's is another one of the clients for scripted. So the script pops up and you read it verbatim. The other type of job is more of a um, I don't have a name for it, but basically it's where you have to troubleshoot, where you have to research information. It's not scripted. You have a call flow, but once they tell you what they need, that's when you begin to um, help them. Okay, so that requires you to be able to talk to the customer, talk to the people in your production room, research or use your tools to figure out how you can resolve that issue. So those companies might be hotels.com, Apple, Intuit, Comcast, um, Royal Caribbean, Carnival Cruises, Ticketmaster, Grubhub, A Place for Mom, Data Lot. What else? Did I say TurboTax? TurboTax during tax season. Quicken Books. Enterprise Rent-A-Car, AAA, Agero. I'm just trying to think. I don't have the list in front of me, but that's just some of the companies over the past 10 years that we have serviced.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious to know some of the names of the companies and type of companies.
Not a problem at all. Did I
I had
say
a question.
Apple, AT&T?
Yes.
Look at T-Mobile, eBay. There's another one, eBay, and what's the other online one? It was Amazon, um,
Home Depot.
Home Depot. There's another one like eBay that it's just escapes me right now. What other questions?
Oh, I had a question, Kimberly.
Yes.
I was wondering for individuals like myself in my situation that's looking to lab move when they get into to a position, you guys help out with the certifications, or if an individual wants to further their they'll try to get like the certain certification that would help to said lab move into that career field.
So if you can just speak up just a little bit.
I'm
and
sorry,
repeat the question.
can you hear me better?
Yes.
So individuals like myself that are looking to lat move within the company, do you guys help, or do you guys know of the resources that an individual could get to said lat move in that career field? So like my position with supply chain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
And like I said, with you, we've already spoken to, I definitely want to connect you to SAP. So we've talked to one of the SAP consultants that consult all over the country in SAP. And when you say a consultant, basically he may have a contract with Ford Motor Company for 9 months, and then he leaves there and he goes on to Coca-Cola for another 8 months, or he goes over. I don't know if you had any time to Google or look up SAP or put in SAP supply chain, but definitely you want to start just kind of taking a look at what that is, so that your next step would be to segue you over into a SAP certification.
Good to go. Thank you, man.
You're welcome. What other questions do you have for me?
So, Ms. Kim, this is Jonathan. So with
Hi.
the assessment, all right, in training, will we receive the information needed to pass the assessment?
Oh, absolutely. They're not difficult. Sabrina, you want to speak to that?
I mean, with assessments, they're basically just, they're asking questions about yourself in different situations. It's somewhat almost the same assessments you get when you have to give an assessment on your PA and how they did with your treatment, or, it's stuff like that. It's basically trying to get to know who you are, and how you will handle things in certain situations. Assessments are very easy. It's just they just want you to be honest on it. If you can't handle somebody putting pressure on you, you can't handle it. There's no reason to sugarcoat and try to lie about it.
Exactly.
But it's just an assessment on the person you are and how you are.
All right. Thank y'all for answering that question.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I would say the hardest part of the assessment, which isn't hard, is when they want, and it's only because sometimes we'll get nervous, is when they want you to speak or read or repeat something. So there may be a part of the assessment that says, repeat, what you hear, and then they'll give you a sentence and then you have to repeat it or something like that. But it's not difficult. It's just, those are things, we actually have some exercises in the class to get you comfortable with even doing those kinds of things, because we don't want you to get nervous. 9 times out of 10, if a person does not successfully get through the program, whether it's they don't pass their mock calls or they don't pass the assessments and things like that, it's usually because of nerves. It's not because they can't do it. It's not because they're not good. Which is why we have that phase one. Without that phase one, for a lot of people, it's difficult to go right in because they just get, we were talking last night in our staff meeting about the anxiety that you feel when you know, when you're in that scenario and no one's around you and you have to try and do something, and sometimes your nerves get the best of you. So, but the more you do something, the more you practice something, the more you have that interaction, especially in a class where there are other people around you, the more you have that experience, the more comfortable you become. So it ceases to be difficult. Yep. Okay. We're right at 11:21. So I have about 9 more minutes to answer questions. So are there any more questions for me, or any comments, or any thoughts? Your feedback, I guess that's my question. What's your thoughts? Anyone want to share? Um, are you excited? Do you think this is something that will be a good fit for you? Um, what's your thinking? Did I talk about pay? I didn't talk about pay, did I? So I do need to talk about pay real quickly. So depending on which company that you will be servicing, each one of them have their own pay scale. On the low end, you're looking at about $15 an hour. On the higher end, you're looking at as high as $22 an hour. So you can expect to fall somewhere in the middle, around $17, $18 an hour for the company. We will definitely, when sitting down to choose a company, we will sit down with you to determine what fits you, your personality, and your interests, the your financial situation, or what you want to make, and your availability and things like that. So we'll take all of that in account, because for me, I always do travel and hospitality type things. I'll do hotels.com, Diamond Resorts International, or Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I love those, Hilton Hotel. I love that type of work. I don't like anything technical or tech support. I did not like TurboTax. I did not like AT&T. I don't like anything technical. So, so that's something that you want to take into account, because if this is what you're doing, you want to enjoy it. If you're not enjoying what you're doing and you're working from home, it's real easy to stop. Okay. All right. So now your feedback.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Equipment wise, I know this happened to me. Just want all the other veterans to understand. Could you explain to them what happens when their equipment doesn't arrive in time and they're wanting to join? They get logged into the company they want with. They pick the opportunities they want, but they don't have their equipment from VA.
Yes. So what's going to happen is you're waiting for your equipment to come from the VA, but all of the companies have requirements, or they have what their system requirements are. Whatever equipment you're currently using needs to meet that system requirement. Uh, One of the reasons that you're getting your own equipment for work is because that's your work equipment. It's not your streaming equipment. It's not your shopping equipment. It's not the kids, the house computer, none of that stuff. That is your work equipment, and you want to protect it as such. So when you get that equipment, obviously it's going to meet all of the system requirements. But if you don't have that equipment at the time that you get ready to do your assessment, then you have to use some type of equipment, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that whatever equipment that you're working on does meet those requirements. If it does not, then please contact me, and we will do what we can to get a loaner to you, or get something available to you, because I know with Sabrina, with one of the work portals, she actually did fine with the first part of the assessment, and then when we did the PC check, it failed. Actually, it didn't fail, but for whatever reason, there was some type of hiccup, and we still don't know what that was about. Which reminds me, Audrey, you said that you had a issue or something you wanted to discuss about working solution. Is that something we can talk about now, or is that something that we need to take offline? Okay, I don't know if Audrey is there. She's probably playing with the dog. Okie dokie. Ray, did you get that text that I just sent you?
No, ma'am, I haven't received it yet.
Okay. Check your text. It should have gone through unless I sent it to the wrong Ray. 507-339.
399.
399? Okay. Yeah. I just sent it. It says SAP Supply Chain Management. And it's just
Sorry,
talking
my
about the
mic was
software.
muted. I'm
Oh,
here.
okay. Not playing with the dog, huh?
Nope.
Okay. So what was the situation with Working Solution?
Sorry, it keeps moving. Working Solutions?
Yes.
What was your question?
Did you have an issue with Working Solutions?
I did. It kept flipping me out during the registration process. I was registered, and then they listed the jobs for me, but every time I clicked on the job, it would say, okay, well, complete the registration and then you can apply. And then I would put it in there and then it would say, oh, you're already registered. It just kept doing a roundabout. So,
Okay. I just need to see your screen at later on today and see what's going on, because it could be that maybe you're hitting the wrong button. I think we do that, Sabrina, and we saw that there was another button that actually took you to where you did the application or something.
Yeah, it was like they gave me two different sites. There was the initial Working Solution site, and then they sent me an email with my employee number, which was a Vine site,
Mhm.
um, site. And then once I clicked on that, that's when they gave me the email saying, oh, you're not registered, or, since it's doing this and all that, you can no longer do this and all that. So yeah.
Okay. All righty. So yeah, we'll take a look at it, Audrey, and see what we need to address. Okay. All right. Well, if you have any additional questions that you think about later, you can feel free to email me and with those questions, and I will address them. Sometimes you might say, well, I'm just going to hold off and talk offline or ask the question offline. That's perfectly fine. Or you can feel free to call me. I will be in meetings this afternoon, but again, the best way to reach me with your questions or thoughts or whatever is email, because even in meetings I can see that. But you're always welcome to call, and I will try and get back with you as soon as I can. Okay. So it's 11:29. I am right on schedule. It was exactly 90 minutes. Thank you all for coming. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Please check your emails. You're going to have several links that will be emailed to you, and several other things. You also have the assignment of setting up your class email. So that I'll send that out as well, so that moving forward, everything will come to your class and your work email versus your personal email. That way, if you're like me and have a whole lot of emails coming in, nothing will get lost. You'll know everything that's coming in is coming in and it's related to work and to training, okay? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, and you all have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. You as well.
take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.